Good stuff. Today we're going to be talking about academia again. I figure we'll keep this theme going because honestly I don't want to have to remind everyone that taxation is theft, because that's controversial. So are the counter-arguments. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Hungary because last week something rather interesting happened and I completely forgot about it until I was scrolling through Discord and then saw it and realised, yeah, you know what, that's actually a good topic. It's a good topic because it raises many questions about the legitimacy of certain subjects, but also the interest of certain subjects within certain cultures. No one can tell me now that cultures within the United Kingdom apply to Poland. They do not apply to, and this is now relevant, to Hungary, and if I have any Hungarian viewers, see ya, hogy vagy. I asked, how are you? Because I used to work with a lot of Hungarian people. I speak quite good Hungarian. And I will now say, to the bastard that gave me unicum when I used to work with them, that is not the Hungarian Jägermeister. You just gave me alcohol-infused window cleaner. You bastard. The bottle's nice though. Anyway, gender studies programs to be banned in Hungary. Dun dun dun. Travesty. Oh my god, it's oppression, everyone. I'm sure there's a good reason why Hungary would want to ban such a subject. Perhaps they don't see it as something worth their time, money, or use because, let's face it, the only job available to you afterwards. Okay, there are two. One is to fabricate oppression. The second is to take a slice of meat that is on a heated device and rotate it, or simply turn it 180 degrees when one side has been warmed enough. I'm sure you can all think of the correct name for that. Anyway, the Orbán, I know I've mispronounced that, regime introduced legislation to shut down accredited gender studies programs offered by universities in Hungary. Academics now have 24 hours to respond to the government's plan. The ban will primarily impact students at a university in Budapest, the only institution in Hungary, other than Central European University, to offer gender studies at the graduate level, and the only one to provide this program in Hungarian. One of the reasons the Hungarian government is seeking to make this happen is because employers are not interested in hiring somebody with a gender studies degree, deeming it to not be a real degree. This particular reference comes from Hungary's Minister for Human Capacity. Yes, that's actually a job title, and this ban would come into effect in the 2019 academic year. Critics have said the ban is part of a campaign by Prime Minister Viktor Orbán to attack NGOs or institutions that oppose his Fidesz party's socially conservative narrative. Andrea Petto, a gender studies professor at the Central European University, one of the two universities that could be affected, said the proposed ban violated the Hungarian constitution, which protects the freedom of scientific research and learning. I'm not convinced, and I'm going to say this bluntly and outright, I am not convinced gender studies, because gender is a social construct, not a scientific construct. I do not believe that gender studies falls into the bracket of scientific research and learning, perhaps the learning part, but only if you're going to believe the crap that came off Tumblr in 2015. I'm still convinced I'm a diesel dyke. According to the Gender and Sexuality, and just to quote Professor Petto, never before has the government sought to legislate the curriculum of universities without consultation with the appropriate university institutions, Hungarian Accreditation and Committee and the Higher Education Planning Council. It also sets a dangerous precedent for state intervention in all other university courses, and actually that is a concern. I tend to agree with that. I think if a course is going to be banned, it has to be banned because it isn't something you can actually learn anything from. While I have little to no respect for gender studies, that is because I just don't give a fuck about gender. It's a consistent position to hold, I think, but I'm not going to be so naive as to deny there isn't something you can learn from it. I would actually have to look at the syllabus and break it down, which, you know what, I might do. I might go and find a module that is actually fobbed off in lectures and translate it to you at some point in the future, after I've done my second part and Berlin read. I'll get to that at the end of the video, I promise. Now, there are some courses over the years that have cropped up that I think are bollocks. Of course they are, but that comes from a level of elitism on my part, because I did chemistry. For the most part, when I hear of creative writing, philosophy, gender studies, I go to sleep. because I don't consider them to be degrees worth my time. Even my friend who has a PhD in philosophy said it was very hard to get a good grade, because how can you rephrase something that's already been said so many different ways so you're not accused of plagiarism? All I could tell him was to be a poet. Isn't that the same thing? Retell the same thing but a different way over and over again, as if the point can't stand on its own merit the first time. Originality's dead, everyone. It's why I wear a suit. I think I'm going to change that. I'm going to talk to Christina about that. Doesn't matter. Back on track, because obviously I go on tangents. I'm so sorry. Not sorry. I tend to agree with the dangerous precedent set for state intervention on banning courses. But I do think if a course doesn't have any reasonable use outside of academia, then there's an argument to be made about whether or not it has any use. If you intend to pursue a career in academia with a gender studies degree, that's fine. But then you have a gender studies degree and you do nothing with it. What was the point? I just realised I've made a fundamental error here. I'm going to rephrase that. When I said doing a degree that has no reasonable use outside of university, I'm going to correct that, because that's a mistake. And I'm not going to edit it out, because I can't be bothered. And yes, I did actually write that down first. I think if you go to university and you do a degree with such a narrow field, and gender studies is quite narrow, it's not just a competitive market, which I'd argue is entirely predicated on misunderstood interpretations of society, then I think your only goal in life is to portray a victim. And I isolate gender studies specifically for my criticism here. There are some degrees that have no use outside of academia. Mine is a perfect example. But there are some fields that have earned their respect because they have actually proven things. They have pioneered things. Gender studies is not on that level. It never will be either. Maybe that sounds better. Yeah, let's go with that. Anyway, back to the original article, because I do want to make some progress on this. The number of students impacted by this ban is small. Only 11 applicants were admitted this year at ELTE and 2 at CEU. The maximum number of students that ELT can admit any given year is 18. Those enrolled this coming academic year will be the last to take this program in Hungary. So it's quite a small field to begin with, and even smaller the number of people who are interested in it. Although the government is not formally citing ideological reasons for its decision to cancel gender studies, the official reason is that this program is not economically rational. Circles within Fidesz, most notably its Christian Democrat wing, have been calling for this for some time. Well, it does seem like a waste of money if you've only got 13 doing a course. And what's the point? Do you expect them to become rare commodities in the pioneering field of gender studies? It's right up there with memology, although I would argue memology will become the greatest single degree on the planet. Try and understand the nuance for a Picard meme where he's making that what the fuck face. Just, it talks to you. In 2017, someone whose name I can't pronounce, the leader of KDMP's youth wing, labelled gender studies as a wasteful luxury and also as destructive, quoted as saying we must raise awareness to the fact that these programs are doing nothing to lift up our nation. In fact, they are destroying the values-centered mode of thinking that is still present in the countries of Central Europe. That is one of the most brilliant points about courses like gender studies, ones that are quite, you know what I'm going to say here, influenced heavily by social justice ideology. The people who usually take these courses are themselves ideologues, very biased ones at that, because they're not seeking to elevate people, as something we discussed yesterday. They are not doing that, which defeats the entire point of social justice. No, actually that is the entire point of social justice. What am I talking about? I need another drink. So good. The entire point of social justice is to bring everyone else down to their level because they're pouty little middle-class kids who somehow got everything and thinks everyone else should be deprived of everything so that either they are better than everyone or everyone is a victim, lined up and colour-coded and gendered according to who is the most oppressed and who isn't the most oppressed, and then tearing them down so that they are more oppressed than those that were originally more oppressed but will still be the oppressors because reasons, or until they are bred out of existence. Which, by the way, the only way you're going to make that happen is if you mandate all white people fuck people of other races, or just not have sex at all. Death to the white race, everyone. Death to the white race. Anyway, This brings up a number of very interesting points about whether it is ethical or not. I remember a couple of years ago, there were a number of creators who were pushing for social justice courses to be scrubbed in academia. I remember this clearly, kind of, vaguely. Okay, vaguely. But I can't remember who it was that put this forward. I just remember those that stood against that. I think one was the Woolly Bumblebee, but I think she just hated Sargon. And I think this is interesting. And I'd very much like to know what you all think. Do you think banning gender studies is a good thing? In this instance, in Hungary, why bother wasting money on it when they only have up to 18 people at most? It's just pointless. But let's say we apply this to another country, a bigger country with a larger student turnout. Would you ban courses like gender studies or those that are social justice related? Please let me know in the comments below. Now before we finish, I have a couple of things I want to talk about. The first thing is the Amberlin Reed Part 2 video. It has taken longer than the first one because I had to scrap 20 minutes worth of material when I realised I'd made a load of fundamental mistakes. I have since recovered. It is so far 30 minutes long, mostly the animal control related stuff, yes, and also a segment on her motivation, or lack thereof. The relationship part is the part I will be starting once I've completed that. My intention is to make tomorrow's video, do my regular political stream, and then focus heavily on finishing those two original segments and then trying to press ahead with relationships. I do apologise it's taken longer, but I've been piecing together a timeline and trying to understand her relationships in the past. Second, since I've gotten tired of continually hearing, oh look, another animal avatar in a suit, I thought I might get rid of the suit and replace it with a costume I had been thinking about putting my avatar in for quite a while. Something I actually own, and something I think would look very cool on my avatar. It's not because I don't like suits, by the way, because I think this brown suit's amazing, even though my avatar artist wants me to wear a blue suit. As if there isn't enough blue on me already. Oh, and to the people who say animal in a suit, Cthulhu-Kin motherfucker, tell me which member of the animal kingdom I'm a part of then, you stupid fuck. I thought I'd put this out there because not only am I trying to finish the Amberlin Reed video, because it's very important I do. You asked for it, and I intend to deliver on it. But also I was thinking about making a change. If I do, of course I will have to pay for that. Which is actually okay, because I like the outfit I'm considering. So I hope everyone has a lovely Wednesday. And thank you all for listening.
Oh, goddowns.
In your ass.
Imagine my shock